Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 2 Peerless Tang Men based on novel. So let's start. After recuperating for 2 days, he felt much better. Only now he heard that Huiyuhao, Juzi and Cuckoo had returned. Xian Zuan had settled this matter already, and the imperial family willingly dropped the matter. They didn't care much since Wang Xiaojie wasn't critically injured. However, Xian Zuan didn't expect Wang Xiaojie himself to be so vengeful, and not heed his advice. He still summoned the royal stewards over. They didn't dare to make a move in his dormitory, instead waiting for Huiyuhao to leave the room before capturing him. Wang Xiaojie hoped that Huiyuhao would resist, because if he dared to attack the royal stewards no one would say anything if they killed him. However, Huiyuhao didn't act rashly. His wise choice left Wang Xiaojie greatly disappointed. Their leader stopped Wang Xiaojie from hitting Huiyuhao further. He said in a deep voice, "You can't do this here. I'll bring him back and deal with him. Don't forget where we are." Wang Xiaojie rubbed his palms together as he said, "Yes, elder cousin. You must be harsh on him, allow me to accompany you in this." The leader shook his head and replied, "No, you can't. It's better if you remain in the academy. In this way, you can deny any involvement in this matter. You're not young anymore, why can't you use your brain?" Xian Zuan already pleaded for this guy's case, and the matter was settled. Do you really want to get in trouble for getting involved? Just act like you don't know what's going on. We know what to do, all right. Wang Xiaojie was a little unconvinced, but he still agreed. After all, he wasn't actually that dumb. After scanning his surroundings and ascertaining that no one was around, he scurried off. Their leader came in front of Huiyuhao and said, "I'm sorry, you can only blame your bad luck. You dared to touch a member of the imperial family. You're from Shrek, aren't you? We'll have a nice little talk when we get back." Huiyuhao could clearly sense his ill intentions from the tone of his voice. He knew that this person was much more powerful than Wang Xiaojie. In his hands, he would probably suffer. But he had no urge to resist what may come. "I just hope that you won't regret doing this." One of the Soul Kings slapped Huiyuhao's face and said coldly, "You dare to be rude in front of the royal stewards. I guess you're sick of living. Captain, you can just hand him to me when we get back." The leader waved him off and said, "Let's go. We'll talk when we get back." 2 Soul Kings roughly pushed Huiyuhao forward, and he cooperated with them, following along obediently. While he appeared indifferent, he wasn't panicked at all. Shrek Academy's reputation was very influential in every empire. Shumorchen had merely been curious when he made this trip. He wanted to see how outstanding a Shrek Academy student was. If not, he wouldn't have bothered with Wang Xiaojie's matter. Huiyuhao appeared very young indeed. However, Shumorchen could sense that he wasn't that simple. He didn't panic, not even in front of so many people. Although he did make some threats, he didn't curse after he was hit by Wang Xiaojie. He was very calm and composed. This surely meant that he had some form of backer. As he thought till here, he developed another idea. He instructed one of his subordinates, "Go and inform the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy that we have a student called Huiyuhao assisting us with an investigation." His subordinate was a little puzzled. However, he didn't dare to question his orders, and went about doing what he was told. Huiyuhao smiled and said, "It's always nice to make friends with intellectuals. How should I address you?" Shumorchen laughed. "Young man, it seems like you're not anxious at all. However, you don't belong to the Sun Moon Empire. No matter who your backer is, I can't return empty-handed this time. You touched a member of the imperial family, and I must teach you a lesson for doing so. Let's see whether your backer will get here quickly enough. If your backer arrives late though, don't blame me if things get out of hand." Huiyuhao continued to wear a smile on his face. "I can tell that you're not that close to Wang Xiaojie. It seems he's not that important to the imperial family either. Why should you seek trouble for yourself? I'm not from the Sun Moon Empire, but I'm a very hot potato. It's not too late to turn back." Shumorchen's expression turned abysmal, and a vicious look flashed in his eyes. "I don't need you to tell me what to do. Take him away. I want to see what kind of trouble I'll get into." Huiyuhao didn't speak out further, and listened to Shumorchen. He walked out of the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy, and got onto a luxurious horse-drawn cart. Then they proceeded towards the city center. What? Hu Yuhao was taken by the royal stewards. Lin Jiari was anxious when he heard the news. Bang. He smashed his table. Nonsense. The royal stewards dare to make an arrest in the academy without consulting us. What nonsense is this? The member of the royal stewards was unbothered by Lin Jiari's rage. Like Wang Xiaojie, or Shumorchen, he was also a direct descendant, or from a branch family of the imperial family. He snorted, "If you dare, you can talk to our captain. Anyway, I've already consulted with you, as ordered." After he finished speaking, he turned around and left. Lin Jiari didn't stop him. Hu Yuhao had already been captured, thus, there was no point in messing with the messenger. He stood behind his desk and pondered for a brief moment. After that, he walked out of his office. Jing Hongchen had once told him how important Hu Yuhao was, informing him not to allow Hu Yuhao to suffer from any indignation or harm, apart from preventing him to learn anything substantial in the academy. It hasn't been easy for him. He was a little enraged when he found out that Xian Zuan had sent Hu Yuhao out for training without informing him. Fortunately, Hu Yuhao returned safely. But who knew that he would be captured the day after he returned? Wang Xiaojie must be fooling around. Lin Jiari was a Class 8 Soul Engineer, but he couldn't offend the royal stewards. After all, the royal stewards members all had complicated backgrounds. That was why he quickly rushed to the illustrious Virtue Hall. He had to report this to Jing Hongchen right away. He knew that Jing Hongchen's precious grandchildren were involved in this exchange. What? Hu Yuhao has been captured by the royal stewards. Zhu Zi exclaimed, "Hallmaster." Lin Jiari rushed in hurriedly, "Rascal. Why didn't you knock?" Jing Hongchen was furious. Lin Jiari knelt down on one knee frantically. "Hallmaster, Hu Yuhao has been captured by the royal stewards." "What?" Jing Hongchen's eyes widened in shock. "Royal stewards? What's going on?" Lin Jiari was aware of the conflict between Hu Yuhao and Wang Xiaojie. He was aware that Hu Yuhao had knocked Wang Xiaojie out for several days with his spiritual type soul skill. Xian Zuan had approached him regarding this matter. Lin Jiari recounted everything to Jing Hongchen immediately. Jing Hongchen's expression turned extremely dismal after hearing his words. Are the royal stewards trying to rebel? How dare they arrest someone in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy? Who's backing them? I will deal with them on behalf of His Majesty. Let's go. He walked out of the room as he finished speaking. Lin Jiari warned him, "Hallmaster, I'm afraid that you must hurry. The royal stewards have resorted to underhanded methods. I fear that Hu Yuhao might already." All right. A cold light flashed in Jing Hongchen's eyes. He was obviously furious. He wasn't concerned about Hu Yuhao's life, but it was imperative that nothing happened to a Shrek exchange student in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy. This would most certainly get his grandchildren into trouble. He didn't think that Hu Yuhao was a brilliant soul engineer. He only insisted that Hu Yuhao join the exchange, because he needed someone as collateral against his grandchildren here in the academy. At the same time, he was well aware of Hu Yuhao's significance to Shrek Academy. He had an ultimate martial soul, and twin martial souls on top of that. Jing Hongchen coveted him. However, he had learned that he couldn't buy Hu Yuhao when he first met Hu Yuhao beside Elder Mu. If something really happens to Hu Yuhao, Jing Hongchen was afraid to imagine any further. It wasn't just a matter of whether his grandchildren would return. He was afraid that all of Shrek Academy might turn violent and clash with the Sun Moon Empire. They might even attack the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy. He had been to Shrek Academy before. There was an abundance of powerful individuals there. Even the body sect had been forced to retreat, and he had been forced to leave a Class 9 soul tool behind before he was allowed to return. On the surface, he wasn't willing to admit his fear of Shrek Academy. However, he was truly terrified of them. Shrek Academy had a long history. They didn't earn their name as the top academy on the continent for nothing. Shrek Academy possessed great sway within the three empires of the Doluo continent, and even the Sun Moon Empire didn't dare to act recklessly when it came to them. Sun Moon Empire's Imperial Palace. Zhu Zi retracted her wings and descended around 1,000 meters away from the Imperial Palace. She had no choice but to do so, as flying above the Radiant City was prohibited, especially in the central region. The Soul Engineer guards stopped her in the air and demanded that she land immediately. Juzi retrieved a dark gold writ. There was a flaming dragon carved onto it. The Soul Engineer guards immediately knelt when they saw this writ and bowed respectfully. Juzi ignored them and quickly ran towards the imperial palace. Nothing must happen to him. Nothing must happen to him. She was well aware of the royal steward's underhanded tactics. Even though he had just been arrested, Hu Yuhao was unlikely to come out unharmed. Greetings to your highness. Juzi hurried a few steps forward and knelt. The youth in white waved her off, and a gentle strand of soul power lifted her. All right, you don't have to be so formal in front of me. Your heartbeat is irregular. Did something happen? Juzi had been anxious before she entered, but was much calmer now. She said in a deep voice, Your Highness, an opportunity has arisen. We need to seize it. Oh. The youth in white was curious as he asked, What opportunity? Juzi answered, It's like this. One of my fellow students under teacher Xian is Wang Xiaojie, a young man from a branch family of the imperial family. He was involved in a fight with a Shrek Academy exchange student several days ago. Not long ago, teacher Xian sent me and Cuckoo to experiment on the all-terrain exploration soul tool with this exchange student. From my observations, this Shrek student is extraordinary. The prince appeared to be interested. What do you mean? Juzi answered, This person has twin martial souls. There's never been anyone with twin martial souls in the Sun Moon Empire. Interesting. The young man in white gestured for Juzi to continue. Juzi said, From what I know, Xiao Hongchen and Meng Hongchen are also involved in the exchange of students with Shrek. You should know their importance to the Hallmaster. This exchange student also holds a similarly important position in Shrek. Wang Xiaojie called for the royal stewards this morning and arrested this exchange student. If the Hallmaster is to learn of this, the prince immediately comprehended what she was saying. It's not a simple matter if the Hallmaster is involved. And your idea is? Juzi replied, The Hallmaster holds an important position in the Sun Moon Empire. Many imperial family members want to get close to him, but His Majesty once ordered that no imperial family member should have any contact with the illustrious Virtue Hall. No one dares to go against this edict. The prince nodded and said, I am under the same restrictions. Juzi continued to speak. The royal stewards have been too brazen over these past few years. Regardless of the fact that a Shrek Academy exchange student is involved, they should have informed us before making an arrest. The Hallmaster should be enraged. While it's not convenient for you to pay a visit to the Hallmaster, I believe that the Hallmaster will remember you if you can settle this matter before it blows up. The prince revealed a look of approval. Very good, Juzi. You're getting smarter and smarter. Your observation is very keen this time around. Come on, follow me to find the royal stewards. Their captain is Xu Morchen, am I right? This rascal is getting too arrogant. It's time to deal with him. Juzi quickly walked behind the prince. The sound of wheels rotating could be heard, and the young man was pushed out. Yes, this young man was seated in a wheelchair. He had practically no legs at all. While he might be a cripple, he was the Sun Moon Empire's crown prince, the heir apparent of the Sun Moon Empire. Juzi met Xu Qianran after her parents died and she became a vagabond. Xu Qianran wasn't crippled back then. He adopted her and sent her to the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy to study. Juzi didn't let Xu Qianran down. Her cultivation grew quickly, as she cultivated tirelessly. Xu Qianran trusted her a lot due to their special relationship, while Juzi was also very loyal towards him. Juzi wheeled Xu Qianran out of his pavilion, and his guards quickly followed. The royal steward's headquarters was in the imperial palace. Although it was merely in a corner of the palace, the location demonstrated its pertinence to the imperial family. Juzi, how's your cultivation? Xu Qianran asked gently. Juzi replied, My progress has been slow. After I became a Class 5 soul engineer, my mastery seems to have reached a bottleneck. My soul power increases very slowly, and taking medicine doesn't seem to help. Although my research of soul tools continues to see improvements, my soul power has stagnated. I'm confident of making it into the illustrious Virtue Hall, but I'm afraid I'll need 3 to 5 years before I can become a Class 6 soul engineer. It will take even longer as I progress. Xu Qianran smiled and said, It's okay, Juzi. Do you know something? I like your honesty. There's hardly anyone who's as honest as you around me, no matter how close they are to me. Juzi lowered her head and said, you gave me my life, and everything that I have. Xu Tianran shrugged and said, let's not bring that up. You repaid the favor when you took 2 knives meant me. Juzi, my father's condition has been deteriorating. I don't think he has much longer to live. If you think that your development as a soul engineer is too slow, I hope that you can consider leaving the academy to help me. Didn't you always want revenge? I'll let you join the military. I'll slowly transfer the trump card I have in the military to you and let you strut your stuff. What? You can't do that. Your Highness, I'm not up to it, Juzi said hurriedly. An anxious look appeared in her eyes. However, a tinge of happiness also flashed through the depths of her eyes in that instant. Xu Tianran patted the hand that she had placed on the wheelchair and sighed. How can I lead the military in this condition? The military is a force that every emperor must be able to control. You're the person I trust the most. I'd be relieved to hand the military to you, Your Highness. Xu Tianran said, you're only lacking in terms of your aura. But your intelligence and military knowledge are great. You're also well versed in soul tools. I trust you completely. I'll gradually let you enter the core circle of my military forces. I'll tell them that you'll be my wife, the wife of the crown prince, as well as the future empress, Your Highness. Juzi exclaimed and stopped pushing the wheelchair. Although she was anxious to save Hu Yuhao, she couldn't reveal her intention. She knelt down in front of the wheelchair. Your Highness, I'm not worthy. Xu Tianran smiled and caressed her head. He said, how are you not fit? In my heart, this has nothing to do with the bigger picture, or to enable me to succeed the throne. I need to have a wife. But this person must be someone I can trust. You are aware of my condition, and you're also the only person I trust completely. I'll give you a proper status and authority. Your only role is to help me stabilize my throne. I'll give you the strength to seek your vengeance, and the encouragement to go ahead with your revenge. I've no intentions other than to rule the entire continent. I'll make the Sun Moon Empire glorious, and the continent will depend on us once again. As he spoke these words, his calm gaze became passionate. Juzi bit her lower lip lightly. She was probably the only one who understood Xu Tianran in this world. The injuries he had sustained hadn't just affected his legs, his manly capabilities were affected too. Juzi had waited for a long time for this day. Without Xu Tianran, how could she exact revenge? However, she was truly loyal to Xu Tianran, too. It was just that Xu Tianran didn't know that someone else had appeared in Juzi's heart over the past half-month. All right, let's rush over. Otherwise, the royal stewards will really cause a huge headache for everyone. Xu Tianran extended his hand to lift Juzi up. Juzi was grateful, and moved behind him again. She pushed his wheelchair along quickly. Hu Yuhao was pushed into this room. There were all types of torture equipment in the interrogation room. Hu Yuhao didn't even recognize many of them. Tie him to the dragon carving pillar. One of the Soul Emperors gestured, and 2 Soul Kings immediately brought Hu Yuhao in front of a steel rack. This steel rack looked a little weird. It had the shape of a cross, with many holes in it. Hu Yuhao's handcuffs were separated, but this didn't affect the restraint on his soul power. The 2 Soul Kings tied him to the cross directly. The rack was extremely cold, and reeked of blood. Hu Yuhao's pupils started to shrink. Although the handcuffs could restrain his soul power, they couldn't restrain his spiritual power. His spiritual detection might be more difficult to use without the support of his soul power, but he was still able to detect up to a certain range. He instantly understood what this rack was supposed to do. There were metal spikes in each of the holes. These spikes were 3 inches long, and were positioned at very precise spots. These spots weren't located at a person's vital areas. It meant that the person controlling this rack could nail Hu Yuhao's entire body to the rack without killing him instantly. Young fellow, I suggest that you be honest. Tell us everything you need to tell us. The Soul Emperor, who had issued the order, sat behind a table and looked at Hu Yuhao apathetically. The rest also stood to the side. Someone took a pen and paper, and was about to record the details of the interrogation. Shumorchen didn't enter the interrogation room. No one knew where he had gone. Hu Yuhao answered, I don't know what you're talking about. The Soul Emperor said coldly, you don't know. Tell us how you harmed Wang Xiaojie, and caused him to sustain critical injuries. If you deny it, don't blame us for torturing you. Hu Yuhao laughed, and wore a mocking look on his face. If I tell you what you demand just like this, wouldn't that just give you a better reason to torture me? Since you're going to torture me anyway, why do I have to give you a better reason to do so? I'm going to give you a suggestion. Don't touch me. Otherwise, you'll suffer. Second brother, is it time to start? I've not heard someone screaming on this rack for a long time. The splattering of blood is a beautiful sight, indeed. 81 spikes piercing different parts of the body before turning and moving in place. It's beautiful. Hui Yuhao clenched his fists tightly and said coldly, have you really considered it carefully? The Soul King was hostile. Young fellow, you still dare to threaten us in the interrogation room. Number 4 laughed viciously, and his right hand grabbed hold of the switch behind him. He pressed it down, and a piercing, rumbling sound filled the room. The spikes started to extend from the holes on the dragon carving pillar. Impossible. How can he still use a soul skill even after he's been cuffed by the dragon binding seal? Wait, it's a soul tool. Second brother revealed an appalled look on his face. Although he wasn't a soul engineer, he was still familiar with soul tools since he was a member of the Sun Moon Empire's imperial family. The dragon binding seal was very effective in restraining a soul master. If Hui Yuhao was able to activate his soul tool even though his soul power was restrained by the dragon binding seal, this meant that his soul tool's class was higher than the dragon binding seal. The dragon binding seal was already a class 6 soul tool. What class was Hui Yuhao's defensive soul tool? Even at this point, these arrogant royal stewards didn't realize anything was amiss. Their eyes brightened, and greed started to fill them. Even if Hui Yuhao only possessed a class 7 defensive soul tool, it would be worth a huge price on the market. If they divided the money, they would still benefit greatly. While they were royal stewards, their salary wasn't that high. In addition, they weren't direct descendants of the imperial family, which made their statuses very awkward in the imperial city. They obtained all their money through ill-gotten gains as royal stewards. You still dare to resist? Second brother snorted. Even if your defensive soul tool is superior than the dragon binding seal in terms of class, your soul power is limited. I want to see how long you can hold on. When your soul power is depleted, the spikes will pierce through your body forcefully. You'll be torn apart instantly. Hui Yuhao sighed in his heart. One could be spared because of heaven's misdoings, but one couldn't live because of his own sins. Hui Yuhao didn't want to cause any trouble, but they were too underhanded. If he allowed them to torture him, he might not survive until help arrived. It seemed like he had to take care of them first. Old fellow, who do you think you are? How dare you cause trouble here? Old 4 was too arrogant, and didn't bother to think about who it was that had just barged in. However, Jing Hongchen's eyes were already filled with killing intent before he had even finished speaking. He made a pulling motion with his right hand, and a powerful suction force dragged Old 4 over. Seeing that things weren't going right, second brother leapt towards Jing Hongchen along with the other royal stewards. Scram! Jing Hongchen roared, and a gust of milky white gas blew the 5 of them away. His 9 soul rings also appeared at this point, titled Doluo. Second brother exclaimed. Although he was in physical pain, as he hit a corner of the wall, he was more affected by the shock that he had just experienced. The Sun Moon Empire couldn't compare to the Star Luo Empire in terms of the quantity of their titled Doluo. Titled Doluo were highly regarded in every empire. No matter how arrogant the royal stewards were, they didn't dare to offend a titled Doluo. Lin Jiari had rushed to Hui Yuhao by now and stopped the dragon carving pillar immediately. He was shocked as he saw Hui Yuhao's bloody body. He quickly retrieved a small white jade vase from his storage-type soul tool. After a moment of hesitation, he took out an azure green pill and stuffed it into Hui Yuhao's mouth. After that, he released Hui Yuhao from the dragon carving pillar. Jing Hongchen furrowed his brow. If their statuses were different, he would have killed them all. However, they were royal stewards, and had close ties with the imperial family. He couldn't go all out against them. He took up a few steps towards Hui Yuhao and asked, "How are you?" Hui Yuhao looked a little pale, but his calm demeanor left Jing Hongchen uncomfortable. Jing Hongchen wished he would kicked up a fuss. A chill rose in Jing Hongchen's heart as he watched Hui Yuhao. I just didn't think that the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy would be unable to protect its own students. While Hui Yuhao didn't sound very forceful, his words struck right at Jing Hongchen's heart. Jing Hongchen's wrath was stirred, and he unwittingly clenched his fist tightly. His obstinate and self-opinionated personality had always been his weak point. This wasn't a conclusion derived by Hu Yuhao. Rather, this was the verdict of Shrek Academy after they had studied him for years. Let's return before we speak. The Academy will give you a satisfactory explanation regarding this matter. Jing Hongchen suppressed his fury before turning away. Lin Jiari hurriedly slung Hu Yuhao's arm over his shoulder and led him out of the interrogation room. The pill Lin Jiari had fed Hu Yuhao was indeed extraordinary. A warm feeling quickly engulfed Hu Yuhao's entire body. He could clearly sense the reduction in pain as the warmth circulated his body. The wounds that were bleeding quickly healed, and even his soul power was restored. However, a voice sounded from outside before Jing Hongchen could walk out of the interrogation room. The Crown Prince arrives. After Xu Tianran returned, he erupted in fury after enduring for a while. He had captured the second prince and his charges in one fell swoop. Eventually, the second prince had died a horrible death, and Xu Tianran reaffirmed his position as the Crown Prince even though he was disabled. This showed how frightening Xu Tianran was. It won't be a problem. Xu Morchen wasn't qualified to bicker with Xu Tianran. Even his master, the third prince, wouldn't dare to do so. Unless his father was around, Xu Tianran would never bow down to anyone. Xu Morchen was cursing Wang Xiaojie in his heart now. Not only did the arrest attract the attention of the Hallmaster of the illustrious Virtue Hall, it drove the Crown Prince to pay a visit in person. This wasn't looking likely to be resolved easily. The door of the interrogation room opened. A gloomy-looking Jing Hongchen walked out, with Lin Jiari and Hu Yuhao following behind him. When Juzi saw Hu Yuhao covered in blood, her footsteps stiffened slightly and her expression tensed up. However, she tried her best to restrain her emotions. She understood Xu Tianran. If she came off as overly passionate towards Hu Yuhao, then Hu Yuhao was likely to get in trouble. Juzi was more than well aware that in Xu Tianran's mind, she belonged to him. Part 1 end here.